D-Man here. Just telling you, I hope you like this video. So let's get in to the video.
Hello guys,
Enjoy.
D-Man here, doing a little bit of a talking video maybe? I don't know what I would consider this video. It's a little bit of a summary and review, but not a full review because this anime is not over, neither is the manga to be honest. So today we are going to be talking about Case Closed or Detective Conan, whichever one you want to call it, because both of them work if you look it up. It will show the same show. So Case Closed or Detective Conan, whichever one you want to look it up and it will show this show. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because when I was a kid, I used to watch this show a lot, and I used to love this show. Um, and then when I got older, I fell off of it. But I recently went back and watched it. Not every single episode of it. I'll explain that later. But I have watched quite a lot of it, and I have some problems with it, and I have some good things to say about it. Um, excuse me. So first off, let's start with how old this show is and what's happening with it. So this show, uh, first off, let's say the manga. The manga was started in 1994, and the anime was started in 1996. So it's over 20 years old, and it's still going to this date. At least the manga is. The last time the anime had an episode was in 2007, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably bring it back eventually. Um, but yeah, it's still going to this day. This show is ridiculous in how freaking just how old it is. Um, it has 1,008 chapters, manga chapters, and 892 episodes, plus 21 movies with a 22nd on the way. If you look up the 22nd movie, you'll see that there's a trailer for it. And it has 130 English episodes and 6 English movies. What sucks, I'd rather watch it in English to be honest, because I like watching my stuff in English because I'm an English guy. I just don't like spending the time reading it all when I watch a show. But I don't mind it, I guess. I don't really like it. I guess a lot of people are like, well, if you don't watch the original, you're stupid. But I don't really care. I like the English version better. But this show is old as hell. Uh, so first off, let me give you a short summary. So basically, this show is about this kid. Obviously, his name is Conan. But originally, he was this teenager right here. So this kid and this teenager right here, I forgot his name. As you can see right here, they're the same person. I forgot his name. I think it was Conan and I forgot his name. But Conan is the kid that he turns into after he gets drugged by a secret organization. And then he has to find a secret organization because he's an ace detective, but he can't do it when he's a kid because he's a kid, obviously. And then stuff happens. Eventually, he meets. Well, he goes to live with his best friend, which is kind of like his on again, off again love interest sort of thing. Except when he's a kid, she's in love with his teenage self, and he goes live with her as a kid, and she doesn't know that he's a he does she doesn't know that they're the same person. Uh, I'll get into that a little bit later because that does annoy me, but I'll get into that a little bit later. But she doesn't know that they're the same person. Eventually, this other girl right here, this little girl, she's also a teenager, I assume. I think she is. Maybe she's in her 20s, I don't know. But she's a teenager or a young adult. And she turns herself into a kid too to get away from the organization that turned him into a kid and seeks his help. And she's a pretty interesting character, and we'll get into that a little bit later too. So that's basically the preference. This guy gets turned into a kid. He has to find the organization that did it to him to stop them and save people and also save himself and find a cure for what happened to him. So we get to watch all that unfold, which is pretty cool. So let's begin this little commentary with the gripes I have, and then the good points I have, and then I guess a score. So the gripes I have with this, there are a lot of gripes I have with this. First one, the most prevalent one, is that this is ridiculously old and ridiculously long, and I think it should have had an ending by now, at least in the manga and eventually in the TV show. But it definitely should have had a freaking ending, but it doesn't. I don't know why it doesn't. It just doesn't have an ending. It's been out for over 20 years now, especially the manga has. So I don't know why this doesn't have an ending to it. It just doesn't, I guess. It's just really stupid, and I could think of like a really good ending for this, or like a premise for a really good ending. Um, let's just say Conan, the little kid, or his, I guess he's also the teenager. I could think that he would find the organization's name and stuff, and he's about to take it down, but then the two main bad guys, which is gin and tonic, I think, or gin and vodka, or vodka and tonic. I forgot their names, but there's something like that, right? They're alcohol names. So the two antagonists would find out that he is Conan, and track him down. And before he tells everybody, they get into a conflict, obviously, a fight. And I could see this being the perfect opportunity for a movie or something like that. And Ray, that's his love interest's name. I could see her finding out that he is actually Jimmy. That's what his name is. I think his name is Jimmy. Yeah, his name is Jimmy. That's what people call him. So he could find out. She could find out that Conan is Jimmy at that point, and it would just be this really interesting, like climactic ending. That at the end he finally takes down the two bad guys, and he finally, uh, like gets his life back. And I could see this going down a few ways. So first off, I could see this going down like gin and vodka. I'm gonna call them that because I forgot their names. Bad guys, antagonists. They find him as an adult because there is a pill that he uses to turn into an adult for a short period of time. So they find him as his teenage self. I guess he's not an adult teenager, but whatever. So they find him as a teenager. They confront him and they tell him that they know he's the child Conan. And then Ray shows up, and there's like this fight and stuff, and obviously he wins. Maybe Ray gets knocked out or something like that. But at the end, Ray and him are together, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," sort of thing. But then the drug wears off, and he turns back into Conan right in front of her. I could see that being like one of the most amazing things ever. It'd be hilarious and awesome just to have that ending, and then just to see the after effect of that. Like I really want to see something like that happen. I really want to see Ray find out that the whole time Conan was him. Because she got pretty close to cracking it once, but she never has cracked it. So that'd be pretty interesting to see. But that's one of my gripes with it, by the way, is that it doesn't have an ending yet, even though it's over 20 years old. It has 21 movies, a 22nd one's coming out. It has over 892 well, 892 episodes, not over 892 episodes. At least not at this point as I'm making this. Um, and it has 1,800 manga chapters. It's ridiculously old and ridiculously long, which is one of the reasons I didn't watch every single episode because I don't have freaking hours to watch episodes. So I only watched the ones that were important. So that's one of my main gripes is why hasn't this been finished yet? Uh, Even I could come up with a premise for finishing for this, but the manga artist, I don't know, maybe he doesn't want it to finish yet, or maybe he's just milking it. The person that's making this series, I don't know why, but who knows? That's a big old question. And by the way, this does have several spin-offs. There are two more movies that are out. I think there's only two more, but there might be more movies that are out. And they're him facing off against a different guy. I forgot the different guy's name, but he's from a different anime. Oh, it's right here. See, look, it's Conan versus these guys. I forgot where they're from, to be honest. But they're like thieves. And there's two movies with those guys in it, and Conan versing them. See right here, a little bit too small to see properly, but there's the movie. There's one of them at least. There's two movies like that. I never seen them, to be honest, because I couldn't find them that easily. But eventually I'll probably find them and watch them. Um, so yeah, it's long and it has a lot of content, but it doesn't have an ending, which is sucky. I like shows that are good, and I like some shows that are really long, but sometimes it gets ridiculous. Like, come on. um, so that's one of the gripes I have with it. Another one is how stupid all the characters are. You would have to be borderline. Just you'd have to be really stupid not to realize that Conan is a freaking genius. Like the way he acts, the way he talks and stuff, the way he gives hints off to everybody. It's just like, how do you not know this kid's a genius? How does no one know this? But everybody acts like he's a kid, and then there's sometimes where they act like he's not a kid, and then other times where they're like, oh, he is a kid. It's really confusing sometimes. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, he's really smart, so he helped us. But then in the next episode, they're like, hey, stupid kid, get away from here. I know you've helped us in cases before, but you're just a stupid kid. It's really dumb, and I'm really surprised that she, right here, his love interest, has not figured out that he is her boyfriend or her love interest, I guess. It's really hard not to figure that out. I mean, it's really, I guess, hard not to figure it out because it'd be really easy to figure it out. You'd have to be just really stupid. Like every character in here is super stupid, and it's it's kind of angering to be honest. It's like how stupid can you guys be? Because this kid is a genius, and yet some episodes he helps, and you're like, oh okay, and then other episodes he like tries to help, but everybody's just like he's a stupid kid, and every time there's a case solved, sometimes he has to knock out somebody to solve it because he has to like knock him out and use this special device that he has to solve it, and no one ever sees him do this. It's just really confusing and really enraging that no one figures it out. Well, there is a few people that figure it out. There is the other detective kid. I forgot his name. He's right here actually. See, it's this detective kid. And this guy right here. He's the kid wizard or whatever. He's a thief. Um, I'm pretty sure that's all. No wait. There is a like an FBI agent. I don't know if she knows that he's a kudo, but I do know she knows that he's like really smart. And this girl right here, she knows his identity, I think. And also there's one more girl that has a child. Well, it's not her child, but it's kind of like she's like a double agent sort of thing, and she like I don't know if she fully knows, but she's getting there. She's getting to know what exactly he is. You know, she's getting there. And that's a plot line in itself that we haven't had any background on yet or finished at all yet. Um, so that's kind of annoying too. That just keeps on introducing more plot lines that don't lead it up to anything. Which leads me to my next point: is this show is basically just solving mysteries, and out of the whole show, there's probably only about I'm gonna say about 100 episodes or so of the main plot line. There's probably only about 100 episodes or so about the main plot line, give or take a few, I guess. and there's 892 episodes. I haven't seen the manga really. I haven't looked through the manga. I've only seen a little bit of like the last parts of the manga. But 892 episodes, and out of all those episodes, there's only been like 100 episodes that maintain to the main plot. And out of all the movies, I think there's only like three or so that maintain to the main plot, and it's freaking ridiculous. Um, how freaking stupid that is. It's just like, oh, like all these episodes just are him being a detective and him doing cool stuff. But the main plot, well, you only get one of those every freaking 20 or so episodes. And it's really stupid. And then they introduced more plot lines, like with the girl and her little girl and the little girl. I think the little girl is another adult that turned into a kid. To be honest, it's right here. See, this is the girl, and she has this little girl that I think was an adult, and she turned into a kid. And I don't know the backstory to that at all, really, but it's pretty interesting to think about. And it's just another plot line that hasn't been solved yet. So that's another thing I have about this is it takes a ridiculously long time just to get a plot line with the main just to get like an episode with the main plot line. I'm saying. So that's annoying. Um, I don't know if that's all my gripes with it. Hmm. I guess again, I would rather have it in English, but they stopped making it quite a while ago in English, which sucks. But all in all, it's an okay anime and manga. Those are my main gripes. There's probably a few more I could pick and choose from, but those are my main gripes with this. Okay, so let's go on to the good things about this. I really enjoy the acting and the animation in this. The older animation was okay, but the newer animation's pretty damn good. And the movies are usually really good, to be honest. So that's pretty cool. I do enjoy the plot when we get episodes with the plot. I would enjoy an ending to it, but we haven't had that yet in the manga or the anime or a movie for that matter. But I do like the plot. Uh, I don't like the fact that it's been on for 20 years. But that's beside the point. We're going for good things. I do like the plot. I do like the love interest. Again, uh, the girl is really like all these people are really stupid except for him. Um, and a few other people that figured it out. And I guess him, he already knew. He's always known. But and his parents too. I guess they know too. But like everybody in this thing is ridiculously stupid. They put the threads together only to get tricked into thinking that that's not the case. And I don't see how you can be tricked that easily. It's just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. But I do like the characters and the stuff between the characters. Oh wait, I forgot one thing about my main gripes. There is one more main gripe I have. And that's the fact that why is they letting a kid in a crime scene? Uh, I don't think police usually let detectives in crime scenes even because the kid, the person that he's being like raised by, I guess technically, Conan, is a detective, and he's a private detective, and usually cops don't let private detectives in crime scenes unless I guess they probably do sometimes, but they'd have to be a really good detective. But this detective, at first, he was hated, and like he was known as a bad detective. So why would they let him in the crime scene at all? That's kind of stupid. They wouldn't let anybody in the crime scene at all, but for some reason they let him in, and let alone a kid and a teenage girl. That's really stupid. Most people would be like, "No, you guys stay at home," because I'm pretty sure the cops would not allow that. The cops would barely allow um the detective to go there, let alone his teenage daughter and a little boy. So that's another main gripe I have. Like that's ridiculous. But I guess you gotta have a certain suspension of disbelief because this is 892 episodes, and if you like think about that, each episode's about a day. Some are even more than a day. So I'm just gonna estimate it to about a day though, even though some are more. And a year is 365 days, right? That's 1 year. And Conan's 8 throughout this whole animated series and throughout the whole manga. He's 8 years old. And yet, if we say that, well, it's about a day each episode, right? Even though it's probably more than that. He should be about 2 years older to 3 years older. So he should be about 11 now, and the teenage girl should be finished her schooling and be in college. But suspension of disbelief. I guess their years last for years. I guess their years last for like over 1,000 days or over 892 days, which is ridiculous. But whatever, I guess. That's another thing of disbelief. But anyways, back to the good parts of it. If you look past all those gripes, it does have good characters. The majority of episodes are just random detective episodes. Some are copy and paste, but the majority of them are really good, and some have parts to them. And the ones that have parts to them are usually better than the ones that don't. But they are pretty good, even though you have to look past all the glaring problems. But it is a really good anime, to be honest, and I really do like the characters and I like the plots. Just ridiculously long and a lot of inconsistencies and bad stuff in it. Like I don't understand how she doesn't know that it's him. She almost figured it out twice, and then nothing after that, I guess. But yeah, it's very interesting anime. I would suggest watching it, but I would suggest like skipping to the good parts, I guess. Watch all the movies, and then skip to the good parts in the anime because, as I said, all of the episodes is something about detectives, except like a few parts. A few parts do have some interesting stuff in them, though. So it's kind of ridiculous, but it's an okay anime. If I were to rate this anime out of one to 10, one being the worst, 10 being the best, five being just average, I'd probably give it a 6. Why would I give it such a low rating? I really do like this anime, but there are so much problems with it, and plus it's not finished, even though it's been 20 years. And plus, this kid should be like 12 years old by now. But whatever. But yeah, this anime I do like it. It's just uh, not the best in some terms. So I would give it a 6. I suggest going to look this up, but I doubt. Maybe you can watch it all, but I know I can't watch it all to be honest. It's a lot of content, man. They even have like different things. As I said, they have spin-offs. They have one with the wizard kid. That's a thief. I think they have like two spin-offs of that. They have one that's like OVAs. Um, and then they have the movies. Uh, so yeah, there's a lot of content, and some of it will probably enrage you and confuse you at the same time. But anyways, that's my little talk about this. I hope you liked it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And as always, my friends, stay sane. Peace.
Hey guys, D-Man here. Just remind you to subscribe by clicking here. It works on mobile. Or click here to watch my last video. It also works on mobile. Just remember, subscribe and stuff. Alright, bye bye.